Good morning, everyone. I am so happy to be here and to see so many of you here today. This has been a project that the minute that I walked through the door, it was about 5 years ago, is a dream for this community. So good morning. We've been working for this for several years, and I'm especially happy to see so many of our community partners here to share this moment with us. Eradicating homelessness among our veteran population has been a goal both on the national level as well as at the Lexington VA for several years. Since 2009, the Lexington VA healthcare system has added staff and fully committed to ending veteran homelessness. We now offer several contract emergency housing, veteran justice outreach programs, treatment court, employment specialists, general specialists, peer support, and that target our outreach for our high-risk veterans. And we have housed more than 800 veterans using Veteran Administration Support Housing, which we call VASH. Vouchers. And we have expanded the VASH program to counties such as Scott, Madison, Laurel, and Pulaski. But we cannot act alone. Those 800 veterans receive the support of our community-wide effort. And it's because all of you in this room and those folks in the community that have supported us. And it's our community partners who help these veterans turn their new housing into homes. Our partners pay deposits, helping to ease minds of overwhelming times for our veterans. And they hold and they give household goods and furniture so veterans are not starting out from scratch. The Victory Point Apartments and Townhomes will expand our homeless program to 32 project-based VAS vouchers, thanks to the efforts of many over the last several years. Mayor Jim Gray is here today. The mayor and his city council and many of the offices in the mayor's administration immediately recognized the importance of a noble vision. The city granted monetary funds for this project and will provide many of the services once the Victory Point Townhomes and Apartments is completed. I really want to thank Mayor Gray for all that he's done of helping us with our homeless initiative. Edward Ken of the Kentucky Housing Corporation has been instrumental in this project. Edwin and his team became advocates for this project and made sure others knew that it was important. We value the common mission of Commissioner Ben Adams, and the Kentucky Department of Veterans Affairs constantly exceeds our expectations with the Commonwealth working with us toward this project. So thank you. Luther Deaton Jr., President and CEO of the Central Bank and Trust Company, led the charge to find the funding for this project. So without funding, this project would never, ever be able to get off the ground. Thank you, Luther, for providing funding for this important effort. This entire project would not be possible without D. Carol Smith, who works with VA Central Office. Had many phone calls, many site visits. Don't know what we would do without your team, and we're still working behind the scenes to get some things done. This project and many others like it throughout VA will not advance to reality without her expertise and without her advocacy. And Congressman Barr, Andy Marr, who continues to make veterans a priority. Congressman Barr is quick to promote VA and just as quick to hold us accountable whenever we fall short. He's continued oversight of our mission to care for those who have borne the battle, and it's always appreciated. And I would be remiss to not thank the staff who really, once I saw this vision of coming here 5 years ago, made sure that it happened. So we had facility planners and our engineering staff and all of our staff that played a part in this. So I really want to thank them for their tireless hours of what they did behind the scene to make this happen. The actions of these people and many of you that are here today is why the Lexington point in time count, the count for homeless veterans, is given every year. And it's at least one night that we go out to look for homeless veterans. We've reduced from 162 veterans in 2017 to 92 veterans in 2018, with just 4% experiencing chronic homelessness. We're getting close to ending veterans' homelessness in Lexington, but we're not done yet. With our development team, AU Associates, and the architectural team building a state-of-the-art facility, which we're going to be proud of, we expect these numbers to further decline. So our veterans can focus on what happens so that they can get well, they can find employment, and they sustain their end to homelessness. At this time, I would like to welcome Holly Wiedemann, President of AU Associates, to give an overview of the project. Thank you.
Thanks, Emma. So we are so happy that today is here, but before I go any further, I would really like to welcome the following politicians and representatives, and also the council members of the city. So Representative Andy Barr, thank you so much for being here, and Mayor Jim Gray. And if the city council members would like to stand who are here, we are so thankful that you're here as well. You can just raise your hand. Thank you all for being here. Really appreciate it. So we are so very happy that today is here, and part of the pleasure that I get to do in projects like this is I look back to review the history of this project, and it was in December of 2015, 3 years ago this month, that AU received a request for proposal for the enhanced use lease opportunity for the VA. This RFQ is sent from Boston and on behalf of the Veterans Administration in Washington, D.C. So it went out nationally, and we were very fortunate to be selected. The objective was to take 4 vacant historic buildings along with acreage on this beautiful campus and to create affordable housing for veterans and their families. The beauty of this concept of the VAs is that veterans who will live here will have complete access to the supportive services offered by the VA. In exchange for a 75-year lease, we at AU are responsible for the financing, design, architecture, development, operations, and maintenance of this project. These responsibilities included securing approvals from the State Historic Preservation Office, the National Park Service, the Historic Preservation Office of the City of Lexington, the Affordable Housing Trust Fund, the Community Development Block Grant Funds of LFUCG, Kentucky Housing Corporation, FAHI, the Kentucky Department of Fish and Wildlife Resources, specifically to receive confirmation that this project would result in minimal impact to both the long-eared bat and the Indiana bat in Fayette County. Fortunately, there were no running buffalo clover or globe bladderpod critical habitats at this location. If anybody's thinking that I'm making that up, I promise you I'm not. Just to be safe, we were directed to make a contribution to the Imperiled Bat Conservation Fund. Lastly, we also had to check with the Eastern Band of the Cherokee Indians and the Eastern Shawnee Tribe of Oklahoma. Johan is nodding, and so is Austin. He knows that I'm not making any of this up. While the VA in other parts of the United States have done this project in other areas, the examples are few and far between. This is the first one in Kentucky in this general region. That may be because we have a persistence level and grit and tenacity that is really required for a project like this. When we were selected, I think we also made it here in record time. I think that Carol would say this is one of the first projects I think that was able to secure tax credits on the first time around. And our fearless leader, Carol, I think, said, wow, this hasn't happened. This is where Kentucky Housing Corporation comes in, and they've been a partner on this from the start. On every project that we do, you've heard me say it really takes a village, and as you can tell from the permission list, this one is no exception. Most importantly, it is the veterans who we are serving, who have served us all by their commitment to our country. Please listen to this quote from a current resident at another EUL development. Living here is a blessing. You know, it's more than just about having somewhere to sleep. It's more about somewhere where I feel safe. It's about having somewhere where I feel supported. It's about being a part of something. We are honored to be here and indeed to be part of something great. Thank you. It is now my distinct pleasure to introduce you to Brigadier General Benjamin F. Adams III. Through both the U.S. Army and the Kentucky National Guard, Commissioner Adams has served more than 40 years with honor and distinction, culminating in his position as Commander, Land Component Command, Kentucky Army National Guard, and Assistant Adjutant General.
Good morning. I tell you, it truly is a wonderful day. But first, I'd like to, I think we all should provide a round of applause for our Leestown Middle School Choir and for the Color Guard from Ryan Station. Yes, today is a wonderful event, long in coming, but for the efforts of so many to take care of our veterans when they know they think they've lost all hope and there's really nobody out there that cares. This city has been truly behind the veterans. And Mayor Gray, I want to thank you personally for everything you've done with the new commission that you have started for veterans, and also all the elected officials here today that have supported the veterans across the board. Veteran homeless is an issue across the nation, as we all know. In our state, we have roughly 1,000. Here in Lexington, as Emma indicated, that we've gone down almost half of what we had before. Still, one is too many. And to provide an opportunity in this environment, in this location, is really unbelievable. For them, the word will spread, and they know that they can come here for support, for care, for love, and they have everything here. They have the medical center, they have a place to live, they have a fresh start. And this second chance is few and far between in a lot of places across the nation. The homeless will travel as the weather pushes them. So we will have a lot of transit people come here and there, but the bottom line is we want to be able to take all of them out of that homeless environment and give them purpose again, give them value, and help them for their future. Congressman Barr has also been a true advocate for the veteran at the federal level. When Governor Bevin appointed me as the Commissioner for Veterans Affairs, we have 330,000 here in the state. And one of the first people I called was Congressman Barr to ask him advice also on what we can do here in the state, and also provide him information to his staff on what we can do to help the veterans within our state itself, not just on the national level. But as Holly said, it takes a village. This is a partnership from the city, the state, and from the federal level. And without this collective partnership, this 5-year effort would not have come about, and truly is a great opportunity and is a shining light for the rest of the nation to look and watch and see how much Kentucky supports the veterans, whether they stay here permanently or if they're just passing through. But the governor wants to make sure that every veteran that stays in this state knows that we are the most veteran-friendly state in the nation. And I believe this is just another jewel in the crown of making that happen. And anything that I can do to support the veterans, we will continue to do from my office. And I know the partnership with Ms. Metcalf and the VA Center here has been an ongoing growth in partnership, and we will continue to make it stronger each day. And thank you all for being here, and thank you for sharing this opportunity to bring our homeless a little closer to what they would like to be in the future. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Congressman Andy Barr needs no introduction, but I'll tell you something anyway. A UK law grad, he has represented Kentucky and Washington since January of 2013. He is chair of the Monetary Policy and Trade, as well as the Commission on Financial Services. In response to the opioid epidemic, he has supported the enactment of H.R. 6, the Support for Patients and Community Act, which will assist in promoting preventative treatment for individuals and families with additional substance and addiction abuse issues. So without further ado, Congressman Andy Barr.
Season's greetings, Merry Christmas. Director Metcalf, great to be back here at the Franklin-Sowsley campus. It was good to be with you all in August for the dedication and naming of this campus as the Franklin-Sowsley campus of the Lexington VA. Mayor, good to see you. General Adams, thank you for your leadership at the state level. And Holly, thanks to you and AU and Associates for everything that you all do and the innovative work that you all do. Edwin, thanks for the partnership at the Kentucky Housing Corporation. Good to see the central office of the VA here, and Luther Deaton in the private sector represented here. We'll talk a little bit about the role of the private sector in this project as well. We're here to celebrate Victory Point Apartments and Townhomes, a very innovative project which will help meet our collective goal of ending veteran homelessness. This is going to be a perennial battle. As we know, many of our veterans struggle in homelessness, but we are making a big step forward in the fight against veteran homelessness right here in our area with the Victory Point project. According to the 2008 Annual Homeless Assessment Report to Congress, which describes the overall scope of homelessness in America and among several subpopulations, including veterans, there's an estimated 369 homeless veterans in Kentucky. But as General Adams pointed out, that is an underestimate. That is a low estimate. It is more like 1,000. And being homeless doesn't always mean sleeping on concrete. Homelessness can also be defined as not having a safe and reliable home to live in. These apartments and townhomes will give deserving veterans convenient access to medical care right next door and a safe and supportive living environment. The Lexington VA Medical Center master plan will renovate 26 apartments and construct 24 townhome apartments totaling approximately 38,333 square feet here at the Franklin R. Sowsley campus. And it will be the first of its kind ever built in Kentucky. Through congressional authorization, the effort to identify and repurpose underutilized VA land and buildings nationwide in support of the VA's goal to end veteran homelessness was established through a program called the Building Utilization Review and Repurposing Initiative, or the Burr Initiative. And to Carol Smith, who's here, the EUL project coordinator, she and I were talking about Burr and the potential for more Burr initiatives across the country after Congress passed last year the VA Mission Act, which commissions a total system-wide review of the VA's aging healthcare infrastructure. There's going to be a lot of buildings, underutilized buildings across the whole system, And the Burr Initiative gives us an opportunity to repurpose those assets. The linchpin that has allowed this unique and successful public-private partnership between the VA and trusted organizations like AU Associates to thrive. This is an inspirational public-private partnership. Without the private sector partnering with the public sector, this project couldn't happen. Victory Point is a project that can transform communities and improve lives, particularly for our veterans who have sacrificed so much for our nation. I'd like to recognize the many organizations and businesses that have contributed to the success of this project. Many of these have already been mentioned, but they deserve additional recognition. FAHI in Berea, the Kentucky Housing Corporation, obviously the Lexington VA, Central Bank, and the City of Lexington. Earlier this year, Congress supported the modernization of the low-income housing tax credit program, as well as a 12.5% increase in the allocation of housing credits over the next 4 years. The low-income housing tax credit program is really critical to making this happen, and we need private sector partners to purchase those credits like Central Bank to inject the private capital to make projects like this happen. We've got to continue to support this program and also the home funds, the HUD home program, which is also providing much of the funding here, and that's why the Kentucky Housing Corporation and the Department of Housing and Urban Development are a critical partner in this program. These programs obviously have huge impacts on our local communities. And in a season like this, it's altogether appropriate to refer to the good book. Quote from 1 John, "If anyone has material possessions and see a brother or sister in need, but has no pity on them, how can the love of God be in that person? Dear children, let us not love with words or speech, but with actions and in truth." This is an example of love in action. And I would like to thank the dedicated staff of the VA, our city leaders, the mayor, and I want to also recognize Richard Maloney, Councilman Richard Maloney here, because it was about 5 or 6 years ago that he and the late Don Ball looked at this property and thought of this and brought this to the attention of Senator McConnell and the city and our office as well. But with all this collective action, that's what is making this groundbreaking of Victory Point Apartments and Townhomes possible. May God bless this groundbreaking, and may God continue to bless the deserving veterans who have faithfully served this nation to preserve our freedom. Thank you very much, and Merry Christmas.
Thank you so much, Congressman Barr. Next, I would love to introduce you to our dear Mayor, Jim Gray. He has led this city remarkably for the past 8 years. I am personally sorry that he is ending what has just been an illustrious and fabulous term twice. And the amount that he has accomplished not only includes this, but also includes the expansion of the Convention Center, the recently dedicated Fayette County Courthouse, the town branch, and also, I think, initially the creation of the Affordable Housing Trust Fund under the guidance of his smart appointment and Rick McQuady and Charlie Lantner. It's just been a fabulous group of people that he has brought together, and this is one more example of another jewel in the crown. Mayor?
Well, like Congressman Barr, I will wish everyone a Merry Christmas, and also recognize those who are up here on the stage, not each by name because Congressman's already done that, but we want to thank everyone up here. And as we crowd the winner circle, thank everyone in the audience as well. Today is about making sure that our veterans have access to quality, affordable housing. Holly, you and your team at AU Associates are bringing new life to these apartments. And the additional new units will make this historic campus a welcoming place to so many of our deserving veterans. Those who have served their country, our country, deserve a good, clean, safe place to call home. The city's been a proud partner with you on this important project, along with so many other federal and state agencies. I want to give a shout out to Planning, Preservation, and Development Commissioner, Derek Paulson, and his team and his planning team who have participated in this project. And I want to also recognize and give a shout out to our Affordable Housing Fund. It exists for projects just like this one, this time with $431,000 in loans and investments and $900,000 in home funding. Rick McQuady, hold your hand up. Charlie Lander, hold your hand up. You all have done great work in all that you do. Your commitment is making a real difference in so many lives here in Lexington. And of course, we are grateful. Thanks, gentlemen. And of course, we are so grateful, Director and General, to the Veterans Administration's partnership and the other agencies that contributed. Holly, you mentioned the Homelessness Initiative, our Affordable Housing Trust Initiative, and I want to recognize Vice Mayor Steve Kay for his leadership in that initiative, and I want to give him a hand. Thank you, Steve. And already recognized Councilmember Maloney, Councilmember Joe Smith's here. Councilmember James Brown, it's been his leadership that brought us the Veterans Commission, and James, thank you for that. Thank you so much. Quickly, I want to give just a bit of an overview and a rear view in a sense, because we're talking about the future today, but looking in the rear view mirror. Since our Affordable Housing Fund was founded just 4 years ago, we have leveraged $112 million in private investment in affordable housing in our community, and that is with an investment of just $12.9 million in city funds. We are the first city in the state to have taken on an initiative at this level. Best of all, we've now created or preserved, we have now created or preserved 1,431 affordable housing units in Lexington. And now, these 50 new apartments for at-risk veterans and their families will be some of the most significant that we have been able to partner on. I said earlier that we're crowding the winner's circle. Thank you all, each and every one, for your presence today, for the meaningful value that you bring to everything that you do, and especially today to this grand project. Thank you all.
Thank you, Mayor. So now, as the manager for the enhanced use lease on behalf of the Veterans Administration, DeCarol Smith has worked hard to keep us all in line. And it's a tough job, as she'd be the first to know. Probably hardest of all to keep me in line, isn't that right, DeCarol? So anyway, we're thrilled that she came from DC to help christen this project and get us going. DeCarol.
Good morning, everyone. As Holly said, my name is DeCarol Smith. I am the portfolio, also project manager for this initiative that's taking place here in Lexington, Kentucky at the VA Medical Center here. It has been a wonderful ride. This is one project that I was actually able to take part of from the beginning, the conception, working with Douglas Morgan and with Ms. Metcalf and with Mike here from our chief engineer here. And we came together with the concept of the need for this community for affordable housing for homeless veterans and those who are at risk of homelessness, as it has been discussed already. The vehicle that VA uses to be able to do a project of this magnitude is through the statute that Congress has allowed VA to have an enhanced use lease program. And this enhanced use lease program allows VA to take underutilized land and or buildings and partner up with communities as yourselves and with wonderful developers as AU Associates and those who assisted her in the financing. We have the Kentucky Housing Corporation. I know I'm going to miss some of the names, but those were one that we have some wonderful discussions in order to get this project underway. but it allows VA to partner with them in order to be able to produce these projects of this magnitude. At this time, there are 100 executed enhanced use lease projects around the nation, and 53 of them are housing. There are 3,016 housing units in operation as of today. And the number of veterans that actually occupy the housing units is 2,166. There are 341 units currently in construction, and we'll add an extra 50 in any moment now here in Lexington. And VA does have a goal by 2020 to have at least 5,000. I say at least because we always want to exceed the goals that we set, but at least 5,000 additional units of housing for veterans and their families around the nation. This has been a wonderful journey, I should say, for this phase, going through the development and the executing of the lease agreement, which will happen, like I said, momentarily, to start construction on the additional 50 units of housing. But I look forward to coming back in about a year when we're able to actually open the doors and watch the veterans actually move in with their families and grow in greatness and an appreciation for the work that they've done for the United States of America. Thank you.
So next, I'd like to introduce you to Edwin King. He is the Executive Director and the CEO of KHC. And without him and his leadership at KHC, this project and all other affordable tax credit housing projects in Kentucky just simply would not happen. Prior to joining KHC, Edwin served as the Chief of Staff of the Finance and Administration Cabinet, and he was recently honored by his national peers to serve on the National Council of State Housing Agencies Board of Directors, which is really quite an outstanding honor. Edwin?
Thanks, Holly, and thank everyone for being here. On behalf of KHC's staff and board of directors, we're pleased to be here with you to join in the celebration of this groundbreaking. This KHC does not often set aside low-income housing tax credits for a specific project, and we did so in this case for this project because of our commitment to veterans and this community. We're putting in $750,000 in low-income housing tax credits, which will be leveraged into over $6 million by Central Bank for this project. And I will say Central Bank is a committed partner to this project, but also other projects. They're a very committed partner in low-income housing, and I'm very appreciative for that. This, as you've heard, is a long process. It's a lot of work behind the scenes to get to the starting line, to get to this point today. And believe me, there have been many hours spent on this project, as Holly has alluded to previously. I just want to thank all of our partners. I won't rehash all of the accolades, but thank you all so much for your hard work and dedication to this project and for being great partners with KHC. Thank you all.
Thank you, Edwin. I am delighted to introduce to you Luther Deed. And I was trying to think how long it's been since I've known Luther, and I don't know. I guess you're like 28 and I'm 27, probably that. Luther has served as the president and CEO of Central Bank. I don't know how many years, but he was recently honored by being appointed as the chairman of the American Bankers Association in New York, which is the nation's voice for the $17 trillion banking industry. And we are thrilled to have worked with Central Bank on so many projects to date, including one that Luther actually told me about that was important from his hometown. That would be the Jackson Post Office and Federal Building. But we did another one in Lexington where they did all of the debt and equity, and that was on, that's right down the block from the mayor's house, First Presbyterian Church. But perhaps none are so meaningful as this one. Luther?
Holly, thank you, and good morning, and Merry Christmas to everyone. And to our partners, AU Associates, Lexington VA Healthcare Systems, FAHE, the City of Lexington, Kentucky Housing Corporation, and Kentucky Heritage Corporation Council, along with other honored guests. I want to congratulate you on your mission and vision for affordable housing that we celebrate today with the groundbreaking for the Victory Point Apartments and Townhouses. Central Bank is pleased to share that vision that will result in 50 units of affordable housing for veterans and their families. With our support of the construction, financing, and purchase of tax credits, we expect to be closely involved with this much-needed project for many years to come. I also want to acknowledge the veterans for their services to our country, and I hope this project is a small measure of our community appreciation. We're very fortunate to live in a community that values the safe, secure, affordable housing and is committed to making it available. These public-private partnerships are essential to serving our citizens and to making Lexington a city that makes us all proud. As a community bank, we are very pleased to be a part of that commitment, and I am pleased to represent Central Bank's Board of Directors, our 350 employed team as employees, and we thank our partners of this project and look forward to the day of all homes and apartments are full with veterans. So thank you and God bless.